9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. Liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Roger, Tower.
Welcome to the Alien Pro Podcast. It is Sunday, October 20th, 2024. I'm Doug.
Is that how it's supposed to look?
Yes, but if it's blinking, it means that we're muted.
Okay.
Because we've done a whole hour.
I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do it over?
No.
It's so hard to get you in the studio as it is.
I know. And to walk all the way across the house.
Today we're in depth, and I'm talking because I forget to intro you. So we're talking about Strangers at the Pentagon with Frank Stranges. We're continuing. He wrote this and started in 1957, it looks like, and the first edition of the book was 1967. It's about Val Thor, the Venusian that's coming to help us and communicating with he and his folks and his saucer. They're trying to help us, I think, but a little bit of religious undertones. That's kind of why we're doing it on Sunday through Thursday.
Okay.
Sunday.
Whatever day this
is.
I hear the click of
we have an extra dog, too, so there may be some barking. We have Piper the Pit Bull. Well, maybe we shouldn't say her name. She may not.
She's not. She doesn't.
She doesn't care.
She's on social media.
Without further ado, let's get started, Davey. Let's get it. Let's roll.
All right. During the drive to the border, we discussed a few items of interest. He made it a point to call out the names of various of my closest associates who were involved in helping me to spread the truth in every corner possible.
In case I didn't mention it, did I mention this is episode 3?
I
think in case I didn't. So if you're wondering what the hell are they talking about, we have an episode 1 and 2 of this. It is riveting.
Yeah.
So if you want to know where we're at, we won't spend like other podcasts where we spend half the episode recapping. So we're just going to roll right into it. We pulled up to the border crossing. We were greeted by the knowledge people on a faraway planet. Let your heart be filled with the expectation that very soon you will be sent to accomplish the most important task for which you have been prepared.
Whoa. Commander Val told me that he then felt the power of Almighty God, not only flooding his soul, but cloaking him with supernatural power that originated from the Father.
You know, this is one of the most interesting, and I'm blaming Matt Whiting for this book because he gave it to us, and I think I think he wanted us to do it on Sundays as part of our sermon. Our science fiction sermon. We don't know if this is true, obviously.
Yeah,
so
we don't know.
It's being presented as being Frank Strange's story and that it's true, so we're going to take it like that. Within days, he met face-to-face with Jesus Christ. This took place during a special time of worship and praise that raised the consciousness of the people to a much higher level than before. Did you catch that? He met face-to-face with Jesus Christ.
Okay. A flame of fire.
You didn't look like you understood the importance of that.
Oh, I do.
The significance of the meeting.
So a all-caps flame of fire filled the temple, and small tongues of fire sat upon everyone in attendance. The master summoned Val to the platform. A special robe of power and authority was placed around his shoulders.
The flame of fire continued to rest upon his head. The master placed his divine hand upon Val's head, and a blessing was pronounced upon him.
The power of the Almighty was so great that many witnessing the sight fell to the floor in adoration. Val's mission was completely spelled out to him before many thousands of witnesses.
You know, I can't understand why episode 1 got so many views and episode 2 is not.
Because I'm...
Is it because you're going, are we talking about religion?
Ah.
Then Val knew that the task of bringing light to the planet Earth was inevitable. While the master concluded the ceremony, Val was instructed to remain on the platform. The master placed his divine arms around Val and charged him with the task that lay before him.
Okay, we've charged him with the tax like 5 times now.
Sometimes people don't get it. The task is only, you got to do it again. Maybe he's not getting it. I don't know.
Within a brief time, the master announced a special, all caps again, Ring of Fire ceremony that was to be performed by Val and others before they would set foot on the planet Earth. Oh, we're not on Earth at this point?
Yeah, it's him and his others.
Okay.
This ring, he's back on it took place back on the ship. We ended episode 2 with him back on the ship. Haven't you been paying attention to what's going on?
Yeah. Okay, you guys.
This ring of fire would protect him and all the others permitted to serve with him. Their mission was under the direct guidance of the Lord Jesus Christ and remains so to this day. Well, that kind of explains some things about what's going on, right?
Oh, yeah. There are dogs trying to bite my feet.
Okay, there's a very large house here. If you guys could go play somewhere else.
Oh, the 3 inches at my feet is the only place we can play. All right, following this experience, Val accepted the appointment as commander and the assignment to travel to Earth to do all within his power to carry out the divine instructions and establish bases on Earth in order to implement the aims and purposes of his appointment. We still don't know what those damn aims and purposes are.
Stay with us.
Okay.
Stay tuned in. And by the way, that's Frank Strange's picture up there. That's the author.
He's hovering over my head.
He's hovering over your head,
Right there.
keeping an eye on
He's
you.
up there.
He's up. Is he up there?
Yeah.
He's over there. He is over your head. To this day, Val travels back and forth to Venus and is still in command of the Venusians who have been assigned to this planet. It was only a few short years ago that he felt the time had become right to share the Ring of Fire, all caps, ceremony and prayers with the members of our association.
Chapter 6.
The airport attack.
Ooh. As a researcher and investigator of unidentified flying objects, I have been swamped with information coming from various parts of the world regarding a phase of UFO research that is avoided by many. Which phase is that?
Well,
Tell me.
that phase involves a certain group called Men in Black.
I've heard of those.
Those people aren't good. A number of researchers over the years have met with unusual accidents while investigating UFO accounts. Several have even met with untimely deaths under mysterious circumstances.
We cannot afford to ignore the fact that there are forces of darkness surrounding this planet. Like dog farts. I have encountered many obstacles during my research that would tend to discourage me rather than encourage me. That's what I think of in dark forces.
That is a dark force. This is but one of the aspects of UFO research about which Val taught me.
One afternoon, January 1974, I was summoned for a meeting with Val and
I was
several...
in high school.
I was 11. I was summoned for a meeting with Val and several of his people on the outskirts of Las Vegas, Nevada. The sun had started to descend behind the mountains as my plane taxied to the ramp.
I noticed the unhappy faces of those who had left their donations to the welfare of Las Vegas.
Oh, are we gambling?
Donations, I think we're gambling. I noticed 2 young men attired in tight-fitting black outfits waving to me. Calling me by name, I thought them to be friends of Val.
Is that like Friends of Bill?
Friends of Bill. It's kind of like, and why the dogs, they didn't fight the whole time. She's been here 2 days. We couldn't get them to play, and now they're in here clicking on the hardwood
Because
floor.
they're trying to get us to play with them.
Wow.
One of them took
Freaking
my
4-year-olds.
briefcase, and I was instructed to follow them to a black Cadillac parked at the curb. Another man, also dressed in black, was sitting behind the wheel. This did not strike me as odd because many limousine drivers wear similar uniforms. Okay.
I was invited to sit in the rear by one of the men who had already climbed into the back seat. The second man sat on the right side of me. The smell of cigars should have tipped me off. However, the excitement of seeing Val again superseded my caution.
Okay, now I've got a big thing. Space people do not smoke.
How do you know?
It says it right there, and are never around people who do. I should have known then something was radically wrong.
Wow, it's kind of...
Space people do not
Space
smoke.
people do not smoke.
That's my new motto.
Remember that.
Don't bite that. That's my pillow. Don't bite that.
An uneasy feeling came over me as the Cadillac pulled away from the curb. I saw red lights and heard warning bells inside my head.
Ooh. There was no further conversation until we pulled over to the side of the road several blocks away from the airport.
The gentleman to my right said, "Get out."
Get out.
He proceeded to exit the car, and my heart was pounding at such a rapid rate that I thought it would burst.
As I stooped to get out of the car, the man behind me must have braced himself against the side of the door, planted his feet with a firm shove directly against my kidneys.
Oh no,
That's
I
just
was
rude.
sent sprawling to the desert floor, face full of sand, and immediately pounced upon by the duo.
I remembered some of my martial arts study and quickly rolled out of their way for a few seconds and sprang to my feet. It was then that I struck back at them, at the same time calling on the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, why are you hitting me?
Is that what he said?
Uh-huh.
He wasn't specifically calling, just saying.
Just said, Jesus Christ, stop hitting me. I will do my kung fu on you.
Many passive Christians who read this narrative will most likely be horrified when they learn that I dared to lift my hand in self-protection. What are you supposed to do? Oh, turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
I defended myself to the best of my abilities.
Again, I was thrown to the ground and kicked over and over again. My glasses were smashed, but I could see well enough to get back on my feet and land a direct hit in the face of one of my attackers.
Wow! Freaking Chuck Norris.
My little hands, it'll do some damage too.
Yeah, but what happens if your glasses are broken?
I'm screwed.
I heard the crunch of broken cartilage,
Ow.
while at the same time noticing that my hand, when you hit somebody in the face and that nose thing crushes like that,
There's a lot of bones in your
it's
face.
kind of, at the time you don't get uneasy, but later. Anyway, well, so I've heard. At the same time, I'm noticing that my hand was a bloody mess. Meanwhile, the driver came rushing to the scene and plowed into the thick of battle.
I caught him in the stomach with my right foot while lashing out again at the other two. Suddenly, a white Cadillac pulled in front of where the black one was parked.
Okay.
Is this Jesus' Cadillac?
The Cadillac from God. Two men rushed to my aid, and I knew without any necessary introductions that these were the men whom I was supposed to have met at the airport.
Oh, you got in the wrong car.
Cars
Cars continued to pass by, some slowing down to look and continuing on their way. The two men in silvery outfits attacked the trio to the point that they were immediately subdued.
Without warning, the driver of the black Cadillac ran to his car and jumped behind the wheel. With his arm outstretched, Don, with two ends, one of the men, is it Donnan it?
You don't know.
One of the men from Val's spacecraft, Donnan, get him Donnan, melted the two rear tires.
Damn.
This vehicle was not going anywhere now.
Hope it's got front wheel drive. Don then proceeded to reach through the glass without breaking it and pull the driver through the window, throwing him back on the ground with the other two.
Is this like one of those 50? I wonder what year this is.
This is-
They don't have pictures. But
We're in the 70s, I thought it said.
Are we in the 70s?
Remember, because you're in high school and I'm
Oh,
11.
that's right.
Yeah,
Wasn't one of those 59. My dad had a 59 Cadillac.
yeah.
It was pink with a white top. It had those big fins.
Did he sell Mary Kay Cosmetics?
He bought it for my mother.
Of course.
Sorry, I should have specified that. I was instructed to get into the white Cadillac, and I quickly obeyed. My two rescuers also got in, but not before one of them reached into the trunk of the black Cad to remove my briefcase without using a key.
Just Don then. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, there. Sorry, you're right there.
Oh, okay. We proceeded. You move that thing, and you're gonna. I swear you're gonna give me a stroke. We proceeded a short distance.
With some flashy lights too.
Jeez, if I have a seizure, you're gonna be in trouble. We proceeded a short distance. Don stopped our car,
Don didn't.
got out, and slowly walked to the rear. He gestured with both hands towards the black car, and within a matter of seconds, the car and the three men who were prostrate on the desert floor.
Prostate.
It's supposed to, isn't it prostate? Prostrate. Okay, prostrate. We
Is
got
that-
an R in there. There's two words. Prostate is the organ. Prostrate is flat on the ground.
Okay.
They utterly vanished.
It's an interesting choice of words, but anyway. There was no trace of the occurrence except for the disturbed sand and the rubber that had melted and had run like water.
Upon returning to the car, Don anticipated my question.
Don didn't.
Stop! Of their new whereabouts. Displaced, he replied, Frank, let's just say that they are now displaced.
Oh, they're displaced.
Max.
The car started again and we proceeded toward Henderson, Nevada.
Max.
The conversation and atmosphere inside the car were enlightening, to put it mildly. What's your dog doing?
He's making a noise out there that's making me nervous. My companion in the back seat, I was to learn later, was Thon. What's Don's brother Thon?
Don.
The brother of Don, who is in turn Val Thor's brother. Oh God, that's enough. We have pleasant.
Say that 3 times fast.
We had a pleasant conversation, even though my right hand was still bleeding, and the rest of my body felt like I had been struck by a Mack truck.
Thonin reached into his pocket and showed me my wallet that had fallen out during the encounter. Oh, I'd be panicky. Where's my wallet? Also, he was holding the bent frame of my eyeglasses and said that when we arrived at the ship, they would be repaired.
He couldn't just fix them. He can reach through glass, but he can't just go and your glasses are better.
He's just reaching through a solid object. He doesn't do any manipulation of,
I know he made the other
metal.
thing disappear. I mean, he's got some powers. He placed his hand on my head and prayed for me that the healing power of God would work in my nervous system.
The force field. Before long, we approached the entrance of the ship, which was the only visible evidence of the presence of this 300-foot diameter vehicle, which measures approximately 3 stories high. Everything in something that I always encounters, everything's divisible by 3 when people, the ship's 3 feet, the ship's 33 feet.
They like 3s and 7s.
It's weird. It's 3, all 3s. It's bizarre. There's something to that.
The force field rendered the bulk of the ship invisible. The car came to a stop as we got out at the section of a ramp where 6 other cars were parked.
Val was on hand to welcome me aboard. With his arms around me, he made me feel as though I were home with my own people. The deep concern for my well-being was reflected on his face.
I see you. I was
Howdy
taken
face.
to an area where I was to change clothes, shower. Well, first you want to shower, then change clothes, and go on to the medical section. It was a familiar sight because of prior visits, which I was obligated to undergo to detoxify my physical body.
Need some detoxification over there, Frank. During the preparation, I was again warmly greeted by members of the crew, both men and women. These beautiful people literally reflected the glory of the creator of the universe. We're in the ship, by the way.
Something's clicking over there. It's bothering me. The medical center is used for the benefit of people of Earth who visit Val's ship. Space people do not get sick. Well, it's because they don't smoke or hurt on the job.
Or smell like smoke.
Nor do they become.
Don't get hurt on the workman's comp.
Nor do they become
Let's try
physically
workers' comp.
limited in any way, shape, manner, or form. The medical facilities are comprised of the following.
Why didn't you tell me I was wearing this Raiders shirt?
I just thought it was a statement you were trying to make.
The statement I'd be making about the Raiders this year is they suck. And I'm not able to see them in my
Come on, you guys.
viewing area,
Max,
but that's
go around.
okay. They're horrible.
Go around.
An examination table, which also serves as an operating table, is made of a warm, soft, plastic-like substance, unlike the cold, metallic tables attested to by victims of kidnappings and abductions and probings.
He got the warm table.
You get the warm table.
There is a very powerful laser-type sun gun, which is affixed to the ceiling. The soft pastel colors of the chamber lend themselves to peace and serenity. There's also soft music playing that certainly calms the nerves. You two be careful. There's wires right there.
All of the equipment, tables, supplies, and surgical instruments, etc., come out of the wall. When you enter the chamber, all that you see is the table. The indirect lighting also lends itself to the tranquility of the room.
When it becomes necessary to draw blood, our blood, it is performed painlessly, without invading one's veins with a harsh needle. The small instrument that is used looks like a short, transparent tube. When it is affixed to your arm, you hear the sound of a slight wind. No pain whatsoever.
Slight wind.
So you hear, and then your blood is
kind of like my dental surgery. That's all I heard was, and the next thing you know, nothing.
Yeah, you were drugged.
By the time the instrument is removed from your arm, the opening in your skin is healed with no after effects. All caps, with no after effects.
That's right.
This treatment center is a real eye-opener. Of course, the medicines that are employed are all of a natural origin. Of course they are.
Well, see, now it has your name again.
No drugs of any kind are ever used. The chamber examining table is the center of the room and actually fits to the contours of your body as you prepare for your treatment.
Every time you move, the tabletop adjusts to your body. If someone near the table were to put their hands next to you, the table would adjust itself to the pressure and size of the hands.
The readout, in quotes, equipment is amazing. It comes out of the wall and passes over your body from head to toe and then back again. There are a series of lights and graphs that appear on the panel and has come out into full view with the moment the readout moves out from the wall.
The equipment scans your body and the panel reveals all of the physical disorders in it. Mine would be going bing, bing, bing. This is quickly read and diagnosed by the doctor, quote, and the remedy is then quickly discussed and performed.
Healed by the Bluebeard, as I lay atop the soft white table, I was conscious of the beam of soft blue light that emitted from the cone-shaped instrument as it began to scan my bruised and battered body. I immediately went off into a deep sleep as the treatment process was completed.
Upon awakening, I felt good all over.
Hello.
It's not a song. Val was standing by while I dressed.
My butt hurt. Oh.
Val, no, there'll be none of that. Val was standing by while I dressed in my white outfit, which was now made specifically for me by the onboard computer system, and which included slippers.
Oh, as long as
that's handy.
I wonder if they were like, Uggs. I was taken to Val's quarters, where I was briefed on world conditions as well as world personalities. We discussed topics such as the role of the United Nations in world affairs, the coming gasoline crisis, which was really a man-made scheme to successfully escalate the price of gasoline.
Yes, let's go political.
The role that Mr. Richard Nixon would be forced to play if he did not heed the constant warnings that he was receiving from friends from outer space, and a number of other subjects directly relating to my own personal activities. Well, they fixed Richard Nixon there, didn't they?
Didn't they? Val went on to review the scope of faithfulness of those members of our organization whose hearts were with the overall goals of the program to help other members of the human family find capital truth. You two are crazy.
This is the sound effect. I received a personal discourse about the need for personal protection for myself and other members of our association. He informed me that men in black were no laughing matter, and that it would behoove every honest UFO researcher and investigator to be warned that the MIBs were in the business of destroying and discrediting good on the face of this planet. Their threat is truly real. And that's the thing about the UFO thing. They're saying that some of the high-ups in the military are stating that they're evil. Clearly, Val is not evil.
You know, Val is only here to help. The date was April 11th, 1985.
Whoa, we jumped ahead.
My wife Julie and myself were traveling down Boulder Highway, returning from a visit to Hoover Dam. The divided roadway was fairly busy that early afternoon when suddenly it happened. "Watch out!" screamed my wife. Don't we always watch?
Yes, you do.
As the car seemed to
No,
appear
you don't
for
say
nowhere.
watch out. You're like, what the?
Why are we stopping? That's always one of. Why are we stopping?
So we just turn the camera toward the dogs.
Oh God, they are having
By
so
morning,
much
we
fun.
could just talk and people could just watch the dogs fight.
It is very entertaining. They love each other so much. It's your turn.
I quickly hit the brakes, swerved to avoid the blue car, and was struck from behind by the automobile directly in back of us. This sent us racing into the dirt medium area, and when we spun several times before finally coming to a complete stop.
The dust had been so thick that we could not see out the windshield while spinning like a top. The impact had been so great that Julie's sunglasses were now resting in the back seat of the car, and I could not move.
Oh no, she quickly unhooked her seatbelt and rushed to my side. I still could not move. She took off my seatbelt, but all I could do was just lay there with my head against the headrest and my hands on the steering wheel.
Continuously, she assured me that I was not alone, that I would be all right.
Soon the ambulance arrived, and after refusing any aid, Julie insisted that they treat me first. She watched in horror as they literally pulled me by the belt of my pants onto a backboard and taped my head down.
She was allowed to ride in the front of the ambulance only, and all she could do was watch from her vantage point as they poked my legs and feet with a sharp instrument and asked if I could feel it.
Unfortunately, the feeling had not returned to my body from the neck down. After arriving at the hospital, I was whisked away behind a locked door to the treatment area. For nearly 2 hours, they examined me, and all the while, Julie sat in the waiting room area, unable to see me or know anything that was going on in my treatment room. They didn't have any, they couldn't use phones.
Yeah, you're not texting in the 80s. Shortly, the highway patrol officer came through the door to take her report. "What about the blue car?" he asked. "Oh, you mean the one that was stopped?" she replied. "Well, I guess that's all for now," he said, closing his notebook.
Nothing to see here. Well, that was weird. You see, she had seen the car in front of us appeared to be stopped and had also seen several people around the outside of the car. She assumed that they had a flat tire and were fixing it.
Only later did she realize that no one would be fixing a flat in the middle of the fast traffic lane when there was a huge median area. The officer had apparently thought she was in shock because of her answer to his request for information regarding the blue car and abruptly ended his questioning after only 2 or 3 questions.
An eyewitness report to the highway patrol officers and later confirmed by a personal call to the party by us stated that the blue car called a phantom car by the highway patrol had preceded us into the dirt median area, and as soon as we came to a stop, it proceeded to dart out of the area, headed down the highway, and disappear from sight.
Keep in mind, this is a long straight stretch of road, and the distance you could see up ahead was quite far. The young man told us he himself couldn't understand why that blue car had gone into the dirt area before us and had darted out as soon as we stopped. But we knew. We knew.
The men in black returned. Once again, the men in black had tried to put us out of commission. And once again, they had failed. Well, I don't know. My wife, you're pretty screwed up. My wife was totally distraught by the time they finally let her in to see me. This was approximately 5 hours after our arrival to the hospital.
All that time, she sat alone in a strange hospital behind a locked door, surrounded by strangers who knew nothing of either one of us. All she could think about was that her husband might be dying, and no one was even back there in the treatment room praying for him.
Oh no.
She could pray through doors.
Yes, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop prayer. "I'm sorry I wrecked the car," I said as she approached the bed where I lay, waiting my ride to the x-ray department. He's been there 5 hours. They're just now getting him to x-ray.
Oh yeah, you can't rush these things.
"Who cares about the car?" she replied as she walked to my side and gently kissed my lips.
Aww.
I should have left that one to you.
The Highway Patrol officer was still standing there and tried to caution her about touching me, but she would not be stopped. Tears filled her eyes as she saw me helpless, flat on my back. They allowed her to stay only a few moments before they took her upstairs for further tests. I kissed her again, and back she went to the waiting area, not knowing when she would see me again and what.
Don't touch her. What's going to happen?
Well, I mean, when people are like, you don't want to be jostled around.
As we approached the radiology department, I saw a familiar figure. After asking the technicians to leave the room in his inimitable fashion, did I get that?
Yes, you got that.
Val approached the head of my bed and placed his hands on either side of my head. Frank, don't worry. Don't say anything. Everything will be all right, he said.
That's so reassuring. His words sounded like the song of angels, and I closed my eyes while I heard him pray that God would perform another healing miracle for one of his children. It's like healing this guy once a week.
Well, he gets, that's been a few years.
You get beat up, you get in a car
They
wreck.
got to take care of Frank.
God.
As quickly as he had appeared, he was gone. I felt a warm, tingly sensation throughout my entire body.
Oh, you peed yourself?
The technicians returned and x-rayed me from head to toe. It would be several hours before I would return to the emergency treatment area.
By that time, the miracle had been fulfilled, and I was allowed to get up and get dressed. I could see the grave disappointment on the face of the attending physician. I had overheard him earlier discussing the financial aspects of my case. No, back.
Suffice it to say that the dollar signs had left his eyes, and he shook his head in utter dismay. A few minutes later, Julie would finally be allowed to see me again, and together we walked out of the front desk to check out. He saw dollars. Is that what physicians do? Oh, I hope he's paralyzed so I get a lot of money.
They get paid no matter what.
Yeah,
I
would hope that a physician would be more concerned about my health.
The hospital wants to make money, but the doctor himself just, they don't sound like they work on commission. Ooh, if I can get
the
an
dollar
X-ray.
signs left his eyes.
As we passed an open door, inside we could see the same ambulance drivers who brought us in. They had apparently brought in another person. That's kind of what they do.
Well, he's been hours. Surely something else would have happened. When they saw me upright walking out, they both did a double take, and one said, "You mean your neck's not broken? You mean your hip's not broken?" said the other one in amazement.
They could not believe their eyes, seeing me walk out of that hospital so soon after under my own steam, arm in arm with my wife. She had actually refused treatment to make sure that the paramedics and the doctors at the hospital attended me first.
This would not be a decision she would ever make again, because accepting treatment for herself would have at least gotten her back in the locked door and in the same area where I was. Well, next time next time this happens.
Next time you break your back. We smiled at the two who had been so kind to us and assured them that I was indeed all right now. They continued to shake their heads, still not believing what they were seeing with their eyes.
We called a taxi to return us to our hotel. The car had not been drivable and had been towed to the car dealer for repair. That night, I was able to go aboard Victor 1, that's a spacecraft, the flying saucer, for further treatments and a more complete explanation of what had taken place.
Please keep in mind that shortly before this incident took place, Julie and I had celebrated our marriage, and we were in the area on our honeymoon. I didn't know they were on their honeymoon.
I didn't know that either. We had been there only 2 days when the incident took place. By the time the next morning came, she was in quite a bit of pain from her own injuries and still very shaken from the entire incident.
It would be 3 days later, in the middle of the night, that I would awaken to hear her crying at the thought that someone actually wanted us permanently removed from this life.
Yeah,
They're trying to kill us.
So the Men in Black thing was continuing on through the 80s. I wonder when they finally decided that that's probably not a good idea to, harass, U.S. citizens simply because they support the UFO phenomenon. Interesting.
Good girl.
She had been hearing stories of the Men in Black for many years, but this was the first time she had personal knowledge. Unfortunately, it would not be her last.
Oh no. Because of the impact of this incident on our lives, I was informed by Commander Val that the time was now right for certain knowledge to be given to me to share with others. Dun, dun.
The information is the Ring of Fire
Back to
prayer.
the Ring of Fire.
Dun dun dun. And ceremony which Val told me that he and his people perform before they ever set foot on this planet. I'll inform you now of a segment of divine order that was established before the very foundation of this planet was laid.
Wow. The words which you are about to read are absolute in all respects. The mysterious...
Is this going to be where you do...
Is that supposed to be Ring of Fire or Ring
Yeah,
of Fire?
yeah, Ring of Fire.
It changed. Ring of Fire.
That's what it said, though. It was
Okay.
weird. But it's not that. It's Ring of Fire.
Will become a vital part of your life. It is an essential part of one's walk on the path to true light and provide you with a cloak of protection never before made available. This offer has never been available before. I'm on the Home Shopping Network here.
They're going to say just Beetlejuice, 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 and he's going to come out. Almighty God has made provision to change our hearts and minds. It is up to each of us to adopt these changes in our lives. The Prince of Air.
Since the war in heaven, Lucifer and his band of angels, a full 1/3 of the heavenly host, were cast down into the planet Earth.
Not onto, into. Down at the bottom. You know they found another ocean underneath the crust of the earth?
Really?
See what's in there. Holy writings throughout the age, of course, it's probably AI. Holy writings throughout the ages have testified that this planet has been held captive by him, Satan, and that he was in fact Lucifer. What's the difference between Satan and Lucifer?
I think it's the same.
Oh, it's a different name. And that he is in fact the prince of the powers of the air. It is under his influence that the atmosphere which you now breathe has become polluted with health-threatening particles and plastics. You're eating plastic too, by the way.
Every evil that is committed here on Earth today can be traced to the influence of Lucifer and his crew. The level of crime, the disharmony, the disunity, man's inhumanity to man, all these under his evil influence.
Because of this, those from other planets are instructed to perform a ceremony called the Ring of Fire. Although performed by a few in Bible days, the threats of the early church keep this information hidden from the people until very few know of its power. Well, that concludes episode 3. It didn't really run that long, but what do you think?
Interesting.
It's the religious undertones for sure. But as we go along here, we're going to see how this ties into the Pentagon and that kind of thing. So, thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Pro Podcast. We welcome questions, concerns about hearing the dogs fight during the whole episode to alienpropodcast@gmail.com. This on Facebook and Instagram at alienpropod. Check us out on YouTube and especially Rumble, and we will see you next time. Thanks, Deb. I appreciate it.
Thanks. I'm going to go get my pillow out of the dog.